Hello everyone, this is Funny Dheeraj. Welcome to Perseverance IAS. This is our daily editorial analysis for 29th September 2021. If you are new here, please do subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification by clicking on the bell icon. Please do like the video and do share the video with your friends. Now for today's editorial. The new outer space order. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi completed his trip to Washington, where he met President Biden, Prime Minister Morrison, and Prime Minister Suga. Right? The intent behind Prime Minister's visit to United States was to attend the first in-person Quad meeting that took place in Washington, D.C. In yesterday's editorial analysis, In yesterday's editorial class or session, we extensively talked about the outcome of the Quad Summit, how advantageous it is for India to engage with other partners in the Quad and deepen our cooperation with America. If you have missed the class, please go back to the channel and do watch that video or that session to completely understand what was the outcome of Prime Minister's visit to United States. Of all the things we discussed yesterday, I left out one particular area of discussion for today. Right? Yesterday, or Prime Minister and other partners of the Quad talked about defense, trade, and also outer space. Right? In yesterday's session, we talked about defense ties and trade ties. In today's session, we will be talking about space, particularly outer space, why it is significant and how India should act on it, and how Quad will be a useful tool in ensuring a peaceful outer space. For the past 2 decades or so, or at least for the past few years, decades would be a wrong word to use here. For the past few years, India has been emphasizing or has been giving attention towards outer space, particularly in terms of strategic interest. So, this new strategic interest in outer space is based on two important factors. One, how important is or how important are emerging technologies in shaping 21st century global order. The advanced the technology a country has, the strongest and the uh, powerful it is. Right? We are in a technology driven age. The country that has the best technology becomes the global leader that occupies the higher ranks in global order. That is one area. The second is the urgency with which we are framing new rules for peace and stability in outer space. Right? When I say that new rules are being written in regards to peace and stability in outer space, when the rules are being framed, a greater importance is being given to space cooperation, which in larger interests, or which, when you look at it from a perspective, is for our own technological agenda. Right? So, this larger technology agenda has been outlined by India and its Quad partners. Look at the statement here. From the readout, it states that both India and US are going to continue and expand their partnership in new domains and many areas of critical and emerging technology. What are those critical and emerging technologies? Space is the first word. The others are cyber, health security, semiconductors. Remember, supply chain, semiconductors is a huge issue right now for car manufacturers, and with the current uh, electricity problems in China, this semiconductors issue is going to become a much bigger problem than what it is now. Currently, China is going through a power crisis. As a result of it, many factories are being shut. Of all the factories, that also include semiconductor factories, semiconductor manufacturing factories. As a result of it, whatever the semiconductor crunch that current world is facing, it is going to be exacerbated. Okay. Now moving on, artificial intelligence, 5G, 6G and future generation of telecommunication technologies, whatever it may be, blockchain technology, the underlying technology for cryptocurrency, and that will define innovation process and the economy security of the next century. But remember, what is the first area of cooperation that both India and US are trying to expand and develop new partnership on? Space. That is why I kept the title for this editorial, Space the Final Frontier. So, in order to have a robust presence in outer space, India should do one thing before we venture any further. That one thing is India must develop its own domestic space sector. India must support, encourage, nurture its own space sector, which it has been doing. It has started, at least it is taking steps in the right direction. Technological progress in the last 2 decades, when you look at it, had kind of brought upon us new domains of human activity. We are being forced to adopt new types of human activity. Among those, the prominent one is cyberspace. Technology drives everybody's life, not only an individual lives, but as a group, as a humanity. Technology drives our day-to-day working, day-to-day functioning. Whatever you touch in your day-to-day life, one way or the other, it is connected to technology, and all these encompass into cyberspace. That is why it is a crucial component of our life. Because it is so important, because it is so crucial, because it is something that might disrupt an individual's life, not only an individual's life but also a country. Cyberspace is occupying most of the policy and political bandwidth and attention of the countries around the world. Cyberspace is the buzzword right now, right? Because of recent actions of the Chinese, of the Russians, of the North Koreans, both state and non state actors in these three cases. Cyberspace is the buzzword, where we are talking about cyberspace as another domain to conventional warfare. So that is how important cyberspace is. But as important as cyberspace is, one more domain, that is outer space, has also developed into a strategic domain. But the difference is, when the entire discussion in the world is revolving around cyberspace, similarly important, similarly strategically important, significant outer space is being neglected. not a lot of attention is being given to the outer space domain in terms of political bandwidth or in policy bandwidth, policy attention or political attention. Till recently, outer space was only accessible to states, that is, nations, governments. Since human race started exploring outer space, it was dominated by the state, meaning it was dominated by countries, it was dominated by the government of that countries. Thanks to a recent trend of privatization of space, in terms of SpaceX, in terms of Blue Origin, in terms of Electron, whatever it is, whoever it is, because of their efforts, space is no longer a state entity. It is available to private sectors also. It has become a lucrative domain where private sector can come in, private sector can conduct business, private sector can make profits. So, the monopoly that a state had on space, outer space, either for civilian purpose or military purpose, is no longer the case. So, when outer space was in the grasp or in the cusp or in the hands of states, in the hands of countries, in the hands of governments, we saw competition between countries. Either it may be military competition, it may be a civilian competition, whatever it is, we saw competition in this sector, in this domain. Now, it's no longer the case. It has become a competition between private companies and the government, government and government, private companies and private companies. That is why the salience of space cooperation between Quad members is likely to increase in the coming years. As I said, space has been predominantly dominated by states. Now private players are into the picture. As a result of it, Quad members are likely to increase their cooperation in this space domain or outer space domain in the coming few years. Right? One example that we can compare how the future in terms of outer space cooperation will look like, you don't have to look far enough. All you have to do is look into cooperation in maritime domain. Until now, the maritime domain has been dominated or has dominated the strategic cooperation bilaterally, right? Every country wanted to have a maritime exercise with other country, either multilaterally, unilaterally, bilaterally, whatever it is, everybody were trying to cooperate, engage and conduct exercises with each other's navies. So when you look at the Quad in its first form, before even it was called as Quad, it started with India and US navies conducting an exercise called Malabar. Later on, you saw other countries like Australia, Japan getting into that picture and conducting the annual Malabar exercises in the Indo-Pacific region. Right? But much before to that, the idea of Quad, or at least the future shape of Quad, took place in 2004 when the Boxer Day tsunami happened in Eastern Indian Ocean at the end of 2004. Sadly, it triggered a massive humanitarian crisis. To respond to that massive humanitarian crisis, navies of both India, US, Australia, and Japan coordinated with each other, collected and collated all of their resources, their ships, their navy personnel, and everything together into a single unit and responded to that humanitarian crisis. So that was the kind of the spontaneous cooperation that came about because of 2004 tsunami. From then on, the idea of Quad came up, died down, came up, Quad died down. But the new paradigm that has developed in South China Sea because of Chinese assertive actions, Quad has been resurrected, meaning brought from dead into the current form, into the current shape that it is in today. That is, Quad, you have a security alliance of Australia, India, Japan, and United States. So, with the rise of China, started the projection of China's maritime power in the Indo-Pacific region. Right? China wanted the ultimate control of these two oceans, but you are seeing pushback from other countries. So, as a reaction to the rise of the Chinese, the current form the Quad it is in right now has come about. It has come about to check or answer the assertive actions of the Chinese in Indo-Pacific region. So similarly, we are also going to see Quad countries, not only Quad countries, but other countries along with Quad cooperating with each other and coming up with a grouping that might answer the future challenges in outer space domain. You shouldn't be even surprised if Quad itself evolves into the outer space domain grouping also. So the seeds for that has already been laid in the last week's meeting, because last week when Quad leaders were meeting in Washington, the idea of cooperation in the space domain were laid by the leaders. Now Quad grouping has officially set up a working group to discuss space related issues. So they have set up a working group to discuss space related issues. As I said earlier, until recently, outer space has been the sole perceiver of states. But now private players are also entering the space sector or space domain by or using space commerce as an commodity. At this time, space becomes a critical factor in shaping the military balance of power on Earth, because we are seeing a renewed growing competition among states, particularly China and rest of the world. For the majority of history, known history in terms of space, US has traditionally dominated outer space, both in military and in commercial. Russia tried till certain extent, but with the collapse of Soviet Union, that too died down with it. But US had monopoly over outer space, both in terms of commercial and in terms of military. But likewise, how the rise of China has started or became a problem in Indo-Pacific, Chinese rise or emergence as a major space power, both in terms of civilian and military, is also reshaping astropolitics. Why did Quad come up? To answer or to check the assertive actions by the Chinese Navy or PLA Navy in Indian Ocean region, Indo-Pacific region specific. Similarly, to counter China's emergence as a major space power, both in civilian and military domains, Quad is evolving its own principles or areas of cooperation, because this is going to reshape astropolitics. The rise or the expansion of Chinese space capabilities has been dramatic. It was a very short period of time before they didn't have anything, and within few short decades they had capabilities to not only put satellites in orbit, but also put humans in orbit and build their own space station in orbit. As a result of this dramatic and fast, quick expansion of the Chinese space capabilities, other countries in the world, democratic powers in the world, had to and were forced to come up with their own groupings, their own actions, their own policy to protect their own national interests, and not only protect their own national interests but also to promote sustainable order in the skies above. Chinese developed ASAT capabilities, anti-satellite capabilities, and tested their vehicle, their missile to take out satellites from the orbit. As a result of Chinese action, India was forced to develop its own kinetic kill vehicles, that is, their own anti-satellite missiles called Mission Shakti. Hope you know what Mission Shakti is. So, that is the kind of thing that I am talking about here. Because of the Chinese rapid expansion, countries like India, democratic countries like India, are forced to adopt to newer technologies to protect our own national interests and national security and uphold our own sovereignty. India wouldn't even have considered developing anti-satellite vehicles if it wasn't for the Chinese to test there first. Few years before us, they tested their anti-satellite vehicle and took out a satellite in the orbit in front of our own eyes. That meant that Chinese can effectively take out or destroy Indian satellites, critical Indian satellites that India depended on. At any point of time, the Chinese chose to do so. As a result of it, we as a deterrence were forced to develop our own anti-satellite vehicle, which we were successful in. But if the Chinese hadn't done it, we wouldn't have pursued it. Because the Chinese did it, to counter them, to have some sort of deterrence over the Chinese in future, we were forced to develop those weapons too. So that is the kind of thing I am talking about here. So India on its own strength developed significant space capabilities over the decade, but private entities, as I said, are entering into this space that we discussed, right? So US came to the realization that because of the Chinese growth, because of its own issues with their own internal politics, US kind of recognizes that they no longer can or continue their monopoly in space, particularly outer space, or uh, have their say. See, till now, whatever the US said goes. Whatever US says, that became the rule. But US also recognized that that is no longer the case, and it should and must seek the help of others in ensuring outer space peace. This can be supported by looking at the statement that was issued. The India US joint statement that was issued in Washington highlighted plans to finalize a space situational awareness memorandum of understanding that will help in sharing of data and services towards ensuring the long term sustainability of outer space activities by the end of this year. What it means is both India and US are going to set up an institution or an organization called Space Sustainable Awareness Organization. So this institute or this unit will ensure international cooperation on space situational awareness. Again, the best example can be drawn from maritime domain. India strengthened its maritime domain awareness through bilateral agreements as well as information fusion center for Indian Ocean Region IFC-IOR at Gurugram. What does this Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean Region does at Gurugram? It collects all the information from multiple nations and collects them. All the information that is collected will be shared with everybody. So you have America giving some sort of an information, you have UK sharing their information, you have Maldives Navy sharing some information, you have Japanese Navy sharing some information. All this information is collected, sorted and collated, and that information will be available for everybody to access. That is how India is using assets of other navies and instruments of other navies to create maritime domain awareness in the Indian Ocean region. Similarly, situational awareness or space situational awareness center is similarly going to be that. So what is that? The space situational awareness involves monitoring the movement of all objects, natural and man-made. Natural are meteors, man-made are satellites, and not only that, also tracking space weather. Space weather is nothing but having solar flares and similar events, weather events in outer space. See, as I said, technology has become an important component. Space-based communications are critical component of not only civilian but also military. Earth observation is a critical component of civilian and military. Without any of those two, there would be serious consequences in a country. Take out communication satellites, people cannot talk. Take out weather satellites, we don't know what is happening. So everything will be disrupted. Without weather satellites, you don't know what weather it is going to be. So your airlines, your traffic, your railways, everything will come to a grinding halt. So any disruption to space-based communications and Earth observation satellites will have serious consequences. That is why we need centers like space situational awareness centers. This is the first agreement that India is signing with US. This is the first of its kind that India is signing. But America has similar agreements with 12 countries or so. Right? This is our first, but they have signed similar agreements with multiple other countries. So not only the space situational awareness was one thing that was discussed between Quad partners, both US and India also discussed about a US initiative called Artemis Accords. What is Artemis Accords? Artemis Accords seeks to develop norms for activity in moon and other planetary objects. So Artemis Accord says what kind of activity that countries can carry out on the surface of the moon, and not only on surface of the moon but other planetary objects also. Insert commercial mining, future space mining. So you have the spatial situational awareness, one thing. Second thing is Artemis Accords. It is given that we are going to see an increased presence of both commercial and military activity in outer space. The 20th century Outer Space Treaty and Moon Treaty of 1979 is old. It's a relic. It needs renewal, it needs reinforcements. If it is even better if you completely create a new accord or an agreement like Outer Space Treaty and the Moon Treaty to meet the current demands and meet the future demands. Whatever the agreement that we make now should keep future in mind. It shouldn't become relic. It should be renewable, adaptable and flexible. So that is why, as I said, the Quad set up a working group, a space working group. What will be its mandate? The space working group set up by the Quad will identify new collaboration opportunities and share satellite data for peaceful purposes such as monitoring climate change, disaster response, preparedness, sustainable uses of ocean and marine resources, and on responding to challenges in shared domains. So that is why the Quad leaders promised to consult on rules, norms, guidelines, and principles for ensuring a sustainable use of outer space. So they are setting the tone for the future space accords that not only Quad members will sign, but definitely other countries in the world are also going to sign. That is why whatever the strategic silence that India is exhibiting right now is not good for us. We need to ensure and assert ourselves in space, outer space particularly. That is why we need a national policy that directly lines up our interests in outer space. So, India has to undertake some reforms, particularly in both policy and practice. One of the best examples is India recently let private companies or private sector in space to participate in space activity. Right? That is a welcome sign. You need to increase that private participation. That is how you augment your resources. That is how you augment your capabilities. Now, it has also taken some steps to cope with the unfolding military challenges in outer space, insert anti-satellite vehicles, anti-satellite missiles, Shakti. Not only that, we are launching military satellites, monitoring satellites. We are improving our ground tracking radars. Ground radars for space debris tracking, space satellite tracking, whatever it is, we are also developing those capabilities. So, we have also initiated space security dialogue with close partners like US, Japan, and France. That is where the Quad and other groupings come into play. With France, we are doing it on a bilateral basis. In order to meet the future challenges, in order to fully capitalize future opportunities in outer space, what India needs right now is sweeping reforms. So, India needs and could do with an intervention on outer space policy today. So, we need to adapt, we need to change, and we need to transform our policy, our politics, and our approach in regards to outer space. So, that is what the article is talking about. Thank you. Stay safe. Please do follow me on Instagram at FunnyDheeraj to find revision videos for all current affairs. Please do subscribe to this channel. Please do leave a like. Please do share. Please do leave a comment below. Thank you. Stay safe. Once again, namaste.